Hello and welcome to Talking Good Games match preview. West Ham United and the £15 to Sky or BT, whoever it is that's trying to fleece us this weekend. The link to the Irons Food Bank is in the description below. So you've got a few quid you'd like to spare. Instead of donating it to the Sky Sports that don't need your money, you can donate it to the food bank. The link is in the description. Now, let's get on with the football. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on Fulham, please?
What aren't my thoughts on Fulham would be the question, Geo. Many thoughts on Fulham. Well, first of all,
you don't know much, do you?
I know plenty. First of all, let's talk about the club itself. I think they've been sold a pup on a couple of occasions. I think the initial owner in recent times, Mohamed Al Fayed, he came in and he brought the established. They carried on being a yo-yo club. And Al Fayed, first of all, tried to move them from a lovely, lovely place. It's at Bishop's Park, a beautiful stadium, which I'm pleased to see they're going to stay at now. The reason I say they've been sold a pup, because I do think it is a lovely football club, by the way, is because this guy came in, Khan, and the deal was very much predicated upon him buying Wembley as well, and then moving Fulham over, and probably doing something with Fulham that probably they wouldn't have even wanted. The fans, those fans wouldn't. There aren't enough Fulham fans to fill Wembley, quite frankly. Let's be perfectly honest with you. We know all about a botched stadium move and moving to a place that's a bit too cavernous and a bit too big, and you do wonder if, following their relegation, following his inability to buy the deal and turn Fulham and an American NFL team into some sort of combined franchise, if he lost interest and they didn't really get backed that much. So I do feel a little bit sorry for Fulham fans. They found themselves on a roller coaster, and actually the roller coaster's ground to a halt and they've been told to get off halfway through.
Some parts of that roller coaster has been good fun, though. I mean, they had the little European adventure not too long ago, and they've had some good football players over the year with entertaining football on show and stuff. They've had some success. They're back in the Premier League now. I think it's a big ask for them to stay in the Premier League. I think they're in for a long season for them. They don't look as bad now as they did at the start of the season. I actually think Fulham, of all the clubs in the Premier League, I actually think they were the one that suffered the most from the transfer window overlapping the season starting, because the squad they've actually won in match day 6. So I feel a bit sorry for them in that aspect, that unfortunately, because the way the world is, that the transfer window got moved, because should everybody have done the same business and the window shut and then the season started, I think they might have a few more points on board and certainly conceded a lot less goals, because their defence was a shambles at the start of the season. I think Tim Ream, Hector, they're just not good enough, and I'm unsure. The Anderson, I don't know much about him. That young lad from Man City, interesting to see if he can step up. But Parker seems to have got a bit of a settled back line now. Clean sheet against West Brom on Monday is a big thing for them, but I still think it's going to be a long season for them. Speaking of Scott Parker, he returns to West Ham, not where he played for West Ham, but he certainly returns to, I say the club, it's a bit of a different club these days, isn't it? But he comes up against West Ham. What do you make of him as a manager so far? He's done well to get them in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, and you'd have to have a heart of stone not to have been touched by his moving speech when they, in the playoff final as well. He just spoke so eloquently, spoke so well, a real genuine character. I'm delighted for him. I hope he keeps them in the Premier League, and I wish him all the luck in the world, Gio, because he's a good egg. He's a good person, and let's be fair, in recent times, West Ham can only really claim to have having had the best player twice. And when I say claim, that doesn't mean we've had the best player, but we can claim it. One of them, of course, was Dimitri Payet, when for a season Dimitri Payet was as good as David Silva, was as good as Riyad Mahrez. Dimitri Payet was arguably the best attacking midfielder in the league. And when we had Scott Parker, even though we got relegated, Scott Parker got one Player of the Year. And for a season, we felt that we had a player who was comparable with Gerrard, comparable with Lampard, just a fantastic player. And so because of that, although it didn't last long, a hero at West Ham, really. And we've seen a lot of players let us down. We've seen a lot of players not try for us. And even though we were going down, he showed those leadership qualities. He was, all I say about Scott Parker is, even though he wasn't the captain, Matt Upson was the captain then. all the commentators, when you hear West Ham, they kept on referring to him as Captain Scott Parker. He had such a presence, he had such leadership qualities that even fooled the people watching that they even couldn't see that he didn't have an armband. They were calling him West Ham captain Scott Parker. He wasn't.
Yeah, it's hard to dislike Scott Parker. Actually, I think he. Excuse for the fireworks that's going on outside. Hopefully, you can't hear too much. But yeah, I think Parker was fantastic for us. He's a real hero at West Ham, and I think anybody that considers him a legend, I don't think he'd be smirked at, if you like. I think there'd be more people call Parker a legend than Mark Noble these days. I think some people would see it the other way around. Numerous Ham of the Year winners and stuff, and I'm glad to see him do well as a manager. I'm also glad to see the way he's playing as a manager. When I watch Fulham, he likes his possession, he likes to keep it neat and tidy, the football, and I like that about him, and I just hope that that's not going to be his downfall. I just hope that he's in the Championship, you get away with it because you are the best team in the Championship, you have the best players in the Championship, you can play passing football. But in the Premier League, you've suddenly gone from the best team in the league to one of the worst teams in the league, and I just hope that he doesn't insist on trying to play passy football the whole time and it actually chips him up in the end. If he is going to play it, I hope he stays up doing it, and I hope he continues to do it. We've always seen clubs come up and try and play good football, but the players just aren't quite good enough. Wigan with Roberto Martinez, and Blackpool when they had Charlie Adam in there, and they tried to play good football, but they just got tripped up a little bit, and I just hope it doesn't happen to Scott Parker. Do you think they'll go down this season? Because that's a big question, isn't it? Will Fulham stay up or not?
I think they'll go down. Geo, I think they'll go down. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I know they've briefly moved out the relegation zone, and if you actually look at their fixtures, their results individually, apart from the Leeds one, it doesn't actually look too horrendous. And when they played Villa were on good form. However, yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy for them. But I don't think they're nailed on. I don't think they don't look like the worst team in the league at the moment. Put it that way. They beat the worst team in the league last weekend.
If we played them 2 weeks ago, I'd be saying I'm very confident Fulham are getting relegated. Then West Brom and pick another. I think after the last couple of weeks, I'd never seen the West Brom game. It was the game before that. I can't remember who they played. A lot more organised, a lot better. They've got one or two players I thought you can keep them fit for this season. You can keep those players fit. I think Scott needs a settled side now. I think there was too much disruption at the start of the season. He was playing a back three, then a back four, and the players in each defence was changing. Kearney was a centre mid, and an attacking mid, and a centre mid again. And you thought, oh, crikey, you couldn't predict their lineup. Now you can predict their lineup a little bit. He's now got a core there, and if he can keep that core fit and keep them on form, I think he's got a chance. It's going to be difficult. I don't know where the goals are going to come from. Apart from Mitrovic, you take him out, and there's one or two that'll chip him in a couple of goals. I do think, is there enough in there? Is that defence good enough? It's a very young defence they've got, but I hope they do. I actually hope Fulham stay up, but I don't think they will. I'm also with you. I think they're going to go down, unfortunately. But final question on Fulham, as always, the players you admire, please, Gonzo.
Well, yeah, they got a right back who can score a goal. Funny enough, if they're looking for someone that can do it. Okay, he almost came, and then he sort of disappeared off the radar a little bit when Pellegrini came in. But I mean, he was linked to this. In fact, I seem to remember David Moyes getting pictures at a Fulham game, going to watch Kearney. I mean, that's how much he wanted him, and he's a good player, and you can understand why. The lad from Man City, whose name I'm not even going to attempt, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes, because he's meant to be the future for quite some time. Big, strong centre half, looks every inch of centre half, doesn't he? So that's interesting. They got a goalkeeper whose name is a part of the female anatomy, which is interesting. Always nice to have one of those in your team. Anthony Robinson is the left back, again another player that we were linked with, and more than most is Lookman, because he was meant to be a special player. I think Lookman might have been at Charlton, quite possibly, to start with. I think that he possibly did go to Everton, then he went to Germany or something like that. He needs to settle down now. He's immensely talented. He's got a lot going for him, and if he can get a tune out of him, they've got a very, very skillful player on their hands.
Yeah, Lookman's the one I like the most of. I think he's been fantastic for the last few games. Very shoot on sight is Lookman. He cuts in, he's not afraid to have a pop. And he's a young lad with a lot to prove, but it looks like he's... Some players just thrive under pressure and responsibility, and when I've watched Fulham with him, I do think actually he's one player that will enjoy... Like, if you don't turn up, we will probably not win this match because we need you to perform. It's like Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. Jack Grealish thrives under the pressure. He enjoys being the big fish in a small pond. I'm not saying Villa's a small club before anyone shouts at me, but he enjoys it. He enjoys being better than the rest of his players, and he plays well under there. Dimitri Payet did at West Ham. He loved being the big fish in the small... Listen, I bet you when Dimitri Payet, if he was on the bench or whatever, and he's getting ready to come on at 2-1 down, bet he loved it, coming on thinking, I'm going to come on and turn this game round and stuff. And I think Lookman, I just get a feeling that he might be that type of player for Fulham, that he's not afraid to be a big player. Rashford was doing it a couple of years ago, from maybe last season for Man United, when Man United weren't doing too well. He was trying to take free kicks and stuff. Rashford was trying to really grab everything. I think Loftus-Cheek needs a big season at Fulham. He could be a very, very clever signing for them. He's just injury prone. I mean, didn't start against West Brom. So it's not just oozed class. I just watch him and he does it so effortlessly. He's breaking up plays, he's putting the tackles in, he's going past players, he's pinging passes around. I just look at him and I think, that's a player. That is a footballer. It looks like the player that was playing in France. He's had his spell out in Spain. He's come back, and even if Fulham stay in the Premier League, stay up, I'm not sure he'll be at Fulham next season. He looks that good. If Declan Rice left and we went and got him, I don't think I'd be disappointed, depending on the price. But I do think he's a fantastic footballer, him. Anyway, we'll talk about West Ham in a second, but before we do, we're nudging you in the direction of Patreon. This week we have got 4 tiers, starting from just $3.50 per month. If you wish to support Hamish Chat, help us out a little bit, that'd be good. We're not too far away from hitting our second goal, which allows myself and Gonzo to take a little extra time off work. Well, not so much for Gonzo, he's off work anyway. But it helps us out a lot, and we're able to give a couple of other people a little bit of money to help us out as well. Create more content, that gives you more content as well. If you want loads more content, you've got the opposition preview. I've just done it on Fulham. I played a little game called Gonzo Bingo, and I think I might have a full house, actually. I've done quite well in Gonzo Bingo this week. Myself and Gonzo do a morning video on Saturdays before the game, player ratings. There's quite a lot of stuff for patrons. Check out the link in the description below, patreon.com/HammersChat, if you wish to support the channel and get more Hammers Chat videos. Right, West Ham. We've got to talk about the big man, haven't we? He's the one. You've done a video earlier in the week. He's the one that's on everyone's lips. Did he play well enough? Did he not play well enough? Do you keep him in for Saturday, Gonzo? Or?
I do, yes. Yeah, I do. The alternatives are not as good, quite frankly, because the alternatives are playing someone that's not a centre forward in a centre forward position. We've got to make this work. It has to be made to work. There's no doubt about it. And when I say we've got to make this work, all of us, well, not all of us, we're not doing anything. The management, the coach team, and the player, and the players around him, they've all got to make it work. Everybody's got to do something. There's no point having a big blame game, and just saying that one person's got. Moyes has to change his tactics. Haller's got to run. Everyone needs to do a little bit and make it work. But he has to be the person starting at centre forward. Yeah,
I completely agree. I actually think he looked all right in the first half against Liverpool. I think the best example is to go look at our goal from when we get the ball at halfway line. He makes a run. He's pointing. He's give it to me here. He doesn't get the pass, so he does the. And then the ball goes out to the left, and when Maswaka gets it the first time, he makes a run again. He's running the ball, and the ball doesn't come in. You can see him. Right, okay, that's 2 runs I made in the space of 2 minutes. Then the ball does come in. Let's be honest, it was a crap cross. It was just a really poor clearance header. But you just watch that goal. He was interested. He was trying. But this is a different game completely. This is not... I don't think we're going to be playing as counter-attacking as we might have done at Anfield. He's not going to have to run around as much as we would have expected him or hoped him to do against Liverpool. I think this one... He's not going to get, with the greatest respect for him, he's not going to get a better opportunity. He's not going to get a better opponent. If you said to Sebastian earlier, Antonio's out for the next 2 games, who would you like to play? I think Fulham would have been one of them. I think he might have picked West Brom as our one and not Liverpool away. But I think he would have said, I'll have Fulham plays as my second game. But he's got to turn up. He's got the only way he'll stop the debate from the fans and the manager and that is by scoring goals. That's the only way he will shut people up. But we need to do something to get him scoring. He didn't really get a sniff. He didn't get anything in front of goal at Anfield. Is it solely his fault? No. Is he partly to blame? Of course. But you can say that about every single striker and every single player all the time. However, last week myself and yourself, were thinking that to get the best out of Sebastian Haller, we might have had to drop Pablo Fornals and bring in either Lanzini or Benrahma. Do you still think that's the case at home to Fulham, or do you think Pablo deserved to remain there?
Well, I think he's actually caused a bit of a problem actually by scoring a goal. Which wouldn't have been a problem had it been the winning goal. I got us a point, but it's a goal that ultimately didn't get us anything from the game. And what it does is it forces a situation where we keep a player in the team because he scored a goal, when really it would probably be to the benefit of the team if he wasn't in it. And I'm sorry to say that. And there's nothing. I'm not saying he played badly or again. I thought he got. I saw your video, by the way, because obviously I wasn't here, and I saw your review. Secretly watched your review, because I hadn't seen the game. And I think a bit like Haller, I think some people get seen as a whipping boy, and it's almost like everyone needs a villain, everyone needs a pantomime villain, and I thought Fornals gets labelled as that villain when things don't go right. Certain players get the blame, and I think he's one of them. So I do have some sympathy for him. I think he's got a long future at West Ham, and he will feature in the team and in the squad lots and lots and lots. But we don't have Antonio, so we've got to make something work differently, which is what you're alluding to, and is what we both said before the preview against Liverpool. So with that in mind, I'll take him out of the team. I would be tempted to give Benrahma a go in this one, because I just feel, as a fan, I've waited a bit too long. I would have put every other game before that, I would have put Lanzini in. Okay? And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't argue. Either one of them I'd be pleased with. If you told me one else wasn't playing, one else is playing, and so is Haller, and one of them's going to get close to him, I think that's great. But I think, actually, we don't need another conspiracy theory anymore. And I think for that, Benrahma needs to play. I think David Moyes needs to put that little story to bed now and play him. And so then it just that whole thing about did Moyes want him or did Moyes play him just then goes away. Moyes needs to basically show it. So I'll play Benrahma instead of Fornals.
I would start Fornals actually. I think this game is completely different to Anfield. I thought Anfield was the game to play a faster player because there's a counter-attacking aspect to it. I think we've got much less of that on Saturday. Fulham do like to keep the ball. If anything, Fulham might actually suit us letting us to play the counter-attacking way. But I do think at times where we're going to have the ball a little bit, and I think Fornals suits that. I actually think he suits playing in front of the other team's 18-yarder, where he doesn't have to rely on speed. He can rely on getting his head up and picking out a pass and stuff. So I would actually start him against Saturday. I think you'll agree with me. The Moyes will probably start him. He scored. He works hard and stuff. So I would put Fornals in there. I almost want to get another attacking player in there as well. I feel like when you look at that, the team that started against Liverpool, I think it'll be the same team that plays on Saturday, injury permitting. But when you look at it, I do just think I wouldn't mind an extra attacker in that team. How? I'm not sure. I would actually be tempted, and this is going to be extremely unpopular, but when's that ever stopped me? I would actually.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
Drop Souček, play Fornals in the middle, and then put another tricky one in Fornals' position.
I would, yeah. That's what I would do. I would take Souček out, and it's not dropping Souček. I just don't think Souček is as good on the ball as Fornals. And if you take, I think he works hard, Souček. I think he gets around the pitch well. He makes up play well. Well, in possession, I can't off the top of my head. I can't remember him creating a chance. He creates chances with his headers, but I've not seen him create a chance with the ball at his feet. I've not seen him do. I've seen Mark Noble do better passes this season. Mark Noble's played about 5 minutes. I would just want to see a bit more, and I do worry that we're going to struggle a little bit. If we've got the ball and say, what are you going to do with it? We're going to sit back. What are you going to do, West Ham? I do worry that we're going to come a little bit stuck, actually. We're going to rely on crosses and stuff, and that's all right when you've got Alio in the box. But I would be tempted to drop Fornals in there, just so we've got someone really creative next to Declan Rice, someone that can pick the passes out from the middle of the park rather than waiting until we're in the final third. Bit risky, I'm aware of that. But I actually wouldn't be adverse, Gonzo, to swapping Fornals and Souček, keeping Souček in the team, but in Fornals' position. So we've got the height up the pitch from the word go, and we've still got that creativity in the middle of the park. I just think Saturday's a different game for us. But we'll get into that in a second. Would you make any other changes, or as you were?
No, there's no other changes to make there, really, to be fair, mate. We're playing well. We're playing well. There was understandable annoyance after Liverpool, but in a cold light of day, particularly as someone that didn't watch the game, so actually go back and watch it a few days later. Not knowing the result is everything, Geo. When you know the result, you don't watch it and have the disappointment. So I never watched that game and felt like we were about to win it when we were 1-0 up. I know when we were 1-0 up, I knew we were going to lose it. So when you watch it like that, you actually look at it and think, actually, I thought we played quite well.
Yeah, I thought we played well. Although we got beat, I thought we played well. I think everybody keeps their positions. A bit of pressure on us this Saturday, would you say? Apart from the opening game of the season when we played Newcastle, would you say this is the first time where we go into this as the favourites and everybody, neutrals, are looking at West Ham going, well, what are you going to do? You've got to win this week. It's your game to lose. Yeah,
it's a chance to prove that we haven't got West Hamitis, which is exactly what everyone. I don't even have to explain what it is. If you're a West Ham fan, you know what West Hamitis is. So this is a chance. It's Fulham, and they're lower than us, and we've been accepting, even against Liverpool, a lot of pats on the back. You saw Match of the Day and Alan Shearer, and everyone has got nice things to say about West Ham, and even Mark Lawrenson and people that are normally grumpy about West Ham are now saying, West Ham have got something about, and West Ham are different. West Ham, okay. Now we prove it. Now we prove it by collecting those draws and those points and the narrow defeats and the victories, and then we go and get a convincing win off a team that we should beat. Then we show that we've found a vaccine to West Hamitis and we're fine. So I do think the pressure is on us then, because I think if that doesn't happen, then we're back to where we were in terms of anything like that. But I think what we want to do is feel that we've made some progress, and that progress would be that we know we're going to lose other games along the way. That's again, that's fine. I think we would accept that in the same way that we accept the Liverpool one. But what I don't think we can handle is losing to Fulham, knowing we're a little bit too good to go down, and spending the season knowing we're sort of going to be 14th or 15th. That I don't want. So yeah, I do think the pressure is on us to show we're a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I think the pressure's on us. I think it's a little bit different perhaps on the manager as well, because if we are not winning, there's a little bit of pressure now to get Ben Ram on the pitch ASAP. He didn't do the subs until 88th minute against Liverpool, and I was actually alright. I say alright with that. It was a bit frustrating, but I can understand why he done it, because go for it. Liverpool had to go for it against us last week because the pressure was on them. You've got to win, Klopp. You've got to go get this game. What are you going to do? He had to do his subs. He'd done them, and they went on to win the game for him. But on Saturday, our mark goes as drawing. There's a bit of pressure on Moyes actually to say, well, you now need to make match-winning substitutions here. You need to do something that's not worked in the first hour that's then going to work in the final third of the game, that's going to get us from 1 point to 3. And that's the first time he's had pressure since the Newcastle game. And the Newcastle game was a disaster. We've moved on from there and we've got better. But I do worry that that's the only game so far this season we can use as a comparison to how Saturday may go in terms of us being the favourites. I can't decide if Fulham winning on Monday was good for us or not. Part of me thinks it is, because they've got their win now, the monkey's off the back kind of thing. But at the same time, I'm thinking, they've now just got a little bit of confidence. Parker's now looking at that team that started against West Brom, thinking, well, that'll be my team that starts against West Ham. He's got an injury doubt with Lamina. He's the only one that's iffy. The other 10 are fine. So he doesn't have to. Previously, every week he was thinking, how do I sort this? What changes am I going to make for the next game? He doesn't have that now. This is the first week Scott Parker's going to sit down and say, let's just keep the team the same. Training's a lot easier this week, and I think we'll see Fulham as best prepared as they've been this season for that reason. Saying that, we should be as well. David Moyes would have sat on that coach on Saturday on the way back from Liverpool thinking, starting the same team next week. They've done alright. They were unlucky. They played well. Fornals got his goal. Bit iffy about Sebastian earlier. Don't have much options though. Same team goes back to training. Let's go. Be interesting to see how we cope. Actually, it's a different kind of game for us. If Fulham give us the ball, intrigued to see how we get on. You confident?
Yeah, I am. Anything other than confidence would be just my West Ham pessimism getting the better of me, and I'd be not confident for historical reasons, and that's not right. If I've got my confidence has to be derived from something that has some recent evidence to it, and recent evidence is that we are a better team than Fulham. I know exactly what you're saying about you don't know whether the result is good or bad. It's quite interesting hearing you say that, because when I thought, oh, that's a good thing. Because I immediately thought, well, there's Moyes' team talk. If there was any lethargy, let's say, and I don't think there is, because Moyes doesn't have lethargy. That's why Fornals is in the team. That's why Souček's in the team, because they run. So I don't think there would have been any lethargy, but if there was, that enables Moyes to say, oi, just in case you were thinking, this is the worst team in the league, they've just won 2-0. They ain't necessarily. And then he can look to the narrow win against Wolves, the narrow loss against Wolves, and then the battling performance against Sheffield United and stuff like that, and he can. I just felt that helped. So, but yes, I am confident, Gio, with this one. Yeah,
I'm confident as well. I think we've got better players essentially, and I think we're playing most, if not all, the players are in the right positions. There's no square pegs and round holes this season. I think Fornals is adapting to his new position. I still don't see that position Fornals plays as a winger. I know everybody says he's playing left wing. I really do not see him as a left winger at all. So I think it's quite a good position for him in Bowen. I think we created chances against Liverpool. We were unlucky to only score one. A bit better decisive action in the final third right outside Liverpool's box. I think we might have had 2 or 3 at Anfield and the result might have been different. I think defensively I thought we were fantastic against Salah, Firmino and Mane. We only got caught up when Jota come on. There was 4 attackers running at us. We didn't really know what to do. But to find Jota to get the winner, and I'm just not so sure that Tom Kearney is good enough to find a world class pass like that. But also someone's got to make that run as well and then do that finish. And I'm confident that we're going to get 3 points. I'm feeling good. We've got a good team, starting 11, good players on the bench if things are going a bit tits up. And I'm expecting a win. I'm hoping we get a win. Play Fulham and then Sheffield United. There's an international break in the middle of 2. Get 4 points out of the 2 games. I'll be happy. I think that's progress, and we can almost start to look to. It'll be a quarter of the season gone. I think we can start to think, hang on, maybe we can finish in the top half this season, which would be good for me. I remember last season, I'm pretty sure Ben Rama caused Fulham quite a lot of problems as well at Brentford. So I think psychologically, if Moyes was to start Ben Rama, I think Parker might think, crap, we know what he did last season against us. We're going to have to keep an eye out for him. But can't do that because he's also got other players. He'll know what Bowen's all about as well from the Championship. So it'll be interesting. Can I get your prediction, please?
Yeah, I think West Ham will win 3-1 for this one. Yeah, I can actually, funny, I can see, the old crystal balls out and that. I can actually see, Ogbonna winding up there forwards, Mitrovic. I really can see him winding him up. He looks a bit naughty, Ogbonna. The more I've looked at him, and with the crowds not being there, and just the way the cameras are, you get a real chance to look at people and hear them and all the rest of it. He's a naughty boy, Ogbonna. He is a naughty boy. He winds people up. And I've seen a different side to him, and I really like it, actually. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to get the forward into trouble. I think you mentioned Souček earlier. I think Souček is going to be influential, actually, in this game. I think he might be a little bit much for them doing what he does, really. Bowen's going to be interesting. A lot of it hinges on Haller, mate. We need a big game from Haller, and we're all smart. It is on Saturday, isn't it, the game?
Saturday night, 8 p.m. kickoff.
There we go. Then we get to enjoy it. Big performance from Haller. We get to enjoy our Sunday.
I'm going to say 2-0 West Ham. I think it'll be a comfortable and not too fancy-free victory for us. I think it'll be not much shots. I'm not expecting an exciting game, actually. I think it's 2 teams who are going to possibly cancel each other out for the lower part of it, but we're just better. We've just got better players, and we're just quite creative going forward. I think we've got the 3rd best defence in the league from the non-Sky Sports top 6 in terms of expected goals conceded, so that takes into consideration the chances you concede, the amount of shots you concede and stuff. Only Burnley and Villa are better than us, so stuff like that just gives me a bit. And bear in mind, we've been playing Leicester, Spurs, Man City and Liverpool. I mean, to come out 3rd bottom is really good. So I'm just confident. 2-0 West Ham. Anyway, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed this. Guys, new match here. If you, like I said, if you've got a few quid spare and you're not paying for the pay-per-view, it's $14.95, I think. If you're not doing that, the link to the Iron Food Bank is in the description if you can spare a couple of quid. They're trying to raise £10,000 and they're nearly halfway there actually, which is really good for them. Anyway, myself and Gonzo catch you on Saturday. See you in a bit.